The memorial service of the two struggle icons, Moses Kotane and John Beaver Marks, is due to start at the Johannesburg City Hall. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver a keynote address. On Sunday, the remains of the two icons, Kotane and Marks, were given a hero's welcome by President Jacob Zuma during a ceremony for the repatriation of their remains from Russia. The two were buried in the Novodevichy Cemetery in Moscow. Kotane, one of the first activists to be banned under the Suppression of Communism Act, suffered a stroke in 1968 and went for treatment in the then Soviet Union, where he died in 1978. He will be reburied in Pella in the northwest on March the 14th, while Marks will be reburied in Ventersdorp on March the 22nd. Well, our reporter Griselda Lewis joins me now live from the Johannesburg City Hall, where she's attending the memorial service. Griselda, good afternoon to you. The significance of today's memorial, let's start there. The remains of the two men returning to a very different South Africa to the one they left decades ago.
Well, certainly it is, Natasha. You know, the remains of Moses Kotane as well as JB Marks returning to a very different South Africa. I mean, the two struggle icons that we speak of are individuals who rallied internationally to get international support against the atrocities in South Africa during the apartheid era. And certainly the South Africa that they never got to see is a democracy that South Africans get to all enjoy now. And, you know, the family members that we spoke to at the return of the remains, you will recall, of course, that President Jacob Zuma had initially facilitated the repatriation of the remains of these two struggle icons, which saw, again, the Arts and Culture Minister, Natim Tetwa, go to Russia for the final phase of the repatriation. And certainly the South Africa that we now enjoy is all thanks to struggle heroes, unsung heroes like Moses Kotane as well as JB Marks. We were expecting, as you said, the Deputy President of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, to give a keynote address, but what would the memorial service be without understanding the significance of it as well, and the significance of the return of these remains close to more than 5 decades later? I'm going to chat now to Ambassador Sam Kotane. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Certainly a day to be marked on South Africa's calendar. It certainly was on the day that those remains returned to South Africa, but a day again today to remember what people like Ntate Kotane did for this country.
Thanks for having me on the show, Griselda. Yes, today is a very special day, really, for not only us, the two families, the Marks and Kotane family, but I think for the country as a whole. I think we gather here this afternoon to not only memorialize the lives of Moses Kotane and Uncle JB Marks, but to tell South Africa who these two giants were. And I believe this afternoon provides that platform for the Deputy President and other speakers who are scheduled to speak this afternoon to say who these two were, what role they played in the liberation struggle. Because let's face it, quite a number of our young people don't know who these two people are. We tend to think of President Mandela or Artambo, Walter Sisulu, when we think of the liberation struggle. Now there are those that preceded them, and these were their colleagues, but of course they were a bit older than the Mandelas. Yes. So this affords, you know, the country as a whole an opportunity to know about these two and where the struggle really started and how.
Ambassador Kotane, sorry, I just want to, talk about this legacy. We've heard President Jacob Zuma say that, I mean, these are the founding fathers, those who came before the former President Nelson Mandela. They laid the ground for the likes of Nelson Mandela. This legacy, how would you like this legacy to continue for young people to be told, not just in history books? We know, for example, there are schools named after Ntate Kotane, but certainly a lot more needs to be done.
Yes, you're right, Griselda. I think, if one has to study Moses Kotane's history, he joined the Communist Party in the late 20s. He was a trade unionist. He joins the Communist Party. He later joins the ANC. Remember, the ANC Youth League of the 40s was very was pro-black. Let me not say anti-white. It was pro-black. But it is people like Moses Kotane who turned, Mandela's thinking, Anthony Limbeda's thinking.
That's right.
That, South Africa belongs to all, both black and white.
Ambassador, let me just very quickly move as well to the Marx family. Roslyn Marx, who is the great-great-grandson of JB Marx. Let's talk about today and the legacy, just very quickly, Roslyn, that the family would like to see, given that after so many decades, the remains of your great-grandfather finally returned.
That's correct. Thank you very much for having me on the show on behalf of the family. With regards to the legacy, Griselda, it's definitely a memorialized day today. And we would like to see much more being done for JB Marx. Just to echo on Ntate Kotane's wording now, he says that there has been schools named, yet it's not enough. We need to incorporate it on our youngsters today, or the youth of today. Therefore, the family has also chosen me as the spokesperson, to embrace it, as we need to let these icons be known out there, as they've actually fought the struggle alongside Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, etc.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll certainly speak to the families when the memorial service gets underway. As we said, we're expecting the Deputy President of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, to give a keynote address. Back to you in the studio, Natasha.
Griselda, thank you very much. That's Griselda Lewis live from the Johannesburg City Hall.